Hello everyone, PharmaPal is back again with yet another video. In this video, we will be learning about ICHQ3A guideline, and the title of ICHQ3A guideline is Impurities in New Drug Substances. Before I begin, let me just ask you one question. Have you ever gone through this guideline before? If your answer is no, then don't worry, because in this video you will be understanding each and every bit of ICHQ3A guideline in a very simple language. So let's get started. There are four main points which you should learn from this guideline. Number one is the classification of impurities as per ICHQ3A. Number two, various glossary terms which are mentioned in the guideline. For example, what is identified impurity, what is unidentified impurity, what is impurity qualification, etc. Third thing which you should learn from this guideline is different types of the thresholds which are mentioned in the guideline. And the fourth and the last thing which you should learn from this guideline is decision tree for the impurity identification and qualification. So in today's video, I will be explaining you about classification of the impurities as per ICHQ3A. And we will cover these three topics in the upcoming videos one by one. Well friends, impurities can be classified into three categories as per ICHQ3A. Number one is your organic impurities, number two your inorganic impurities, and number three is your residual solvents. So let us understand about the organic impurities first. So friends, molecules of the organic impurities are having carbon-hydrogen bonds between them. That's why they are called as organic impurities. Organic impurities generally produced during the manufacturing process or during the storage of your drug substance. Organic impurities can be identified or unidentified. Now, what is identified impurity and unidentified impurity? That I will explain in the later part of the video. Organic impurities can be volatile or non-volatile. And the examples of organic impurities generally includes your starting materials, byproducts, intermediates, and degradation products. So this is all about your organic impurities. Now let us try to understand about the inorganic impurities. Molecules of inorganic impurities do not have carbon-hydrogen bonds. Inorganic impurities generally produced during the manufacturing process. Inorganic impurities are generally known and identified. Examples of your inorganic impurities include your reagents, ligands, catalysts, heavy metals, and inorganic salts. Now, before understanding about the residual solvents, let us try to differentiate between organic and inorganic impurities. This will help us to understand the organic and inorganic impurities more clearly. So as I said earlier that the molecules of organic impurities are having carbon-hydrogen bonds. On the other side, inorganic impurities molecules do not have carbon-hydrogen bonds. Organic impurities are produced during the manufacturing process or during the storage of your drug substance. On the other side, inorganic impurities are always produced during the manufacturing process. Organic impurities can be identified or unidentified. On the other side, inorganic impurities are always identified. So this is all about the differences between your organic and inorganic impurities. Now let us discuss the third category of the impurities, which is residual solvents. Residual solvents are the liquids which can be either organic or inorganic. Residual solvents are used as a vehicle for the preparation of solutions or suspensions, and further these solutions and suspensions are used during the synthesis of new drug substance. Well friends, in this ICHQ3A guideline, residual solvents are not covered thoroughly. If you want to know more about the residual solvents, then you need to read ICHQ3C guideline. This guideline exclusively talks about each and every aspects of the residual solvents. If you want to know more about the residual solvents as per ICHQ3C, then you can refer the video link given in the description. So this was all about the classification of the impurities. Well friends, in the earlier part of the video, we have used two terms, identified impurity and unidentified impurity. So let us see what is the difference between these two terms. Friends, when chemical structure of the impurity is known, then it is called as identified impurity. On the other side, when the chemical structure of the impurity is not known, then it is called as unidentified impurity. So likewise, there are so many abbreviations which are there in the guideline, and we will learn all these abbreviations in the next part of the video. So with this note, I would like to wrap up the video. Bye bye and thank you so much.